Hey, hi, welcome back to this series of A-Spice sessions. I am Tota Krishna Hema, your A-Spice expert. So today we would like to discuss on the configuration management or SUP8 process area from Automotive Spice. Let us get into the details of it in further slides. So what is the purpose of the configuration management? The purpose of the configuration management process is to establish and maintain the integrity of all work products of a process or project and make them available to affected parties. So I have read the complete purpose of it. So in this one, first of all, you have to establish a process and then you have to maintain it. Maintain the integrity of all the work products, like you have to maintain the naming convention, you have to maintain the standards. If you are writing a code, you have to maintain the coding standards, or if you are writing a document, like you need to maintain the uniformity inside it. You need to maintain the same font, same size, or which is particularly defined for your organization or your project. And even which is we have to ensure the availability of the data or your configuration items which are identified in the beginning of the project to all the affected parties, including your customer, or as defined in your configuration management plan. So what are the process outcomes it has? So a configuration management strategy is developed. This is the first process outcome. So we have a configuration management strategy. That the second thing is configuration items, which we have to identify inside the project, like what are the configuration items, and we have to define it. We have to list down what all the things it all have, and we have to define it, and we have to baseline it, and we have to define the requirement of the baselining of a document of a configuration item. Okay, and the modifications and releases of the configuration item are controlled. So each and every configuration item will have a complete configuration life cycle. So once it is developed, it is an initial document, or the second thing is, like, when it is updated, you can make it as in progress, or you can when you have sent it to the customer, or when you send it to the reviewer, then it is reviewed. Okay, and when you get an approval, then it is approved, or the baseline version, you can say. So all this configuration life cycle it should undergo. And even while you are releasing it to the customer, or while you are releasing it to the external parties or the affected parties, even if your project is an internal project also, like, you have to ensure on the release activities of the configuration items. Modifications and releases are made available to affected parties. So if your customer is able to you have to ensure that your customer is able to access the latest code. Okay, if you have to ensure whether your customer is able to access your release activities, or all your deliverables, I can say. The status of the configuration items and modifications is recorded and reported. So all your version history, all your document history, so this all we have to record, and the previous versions or the current versions, what is the delta, this all we have to record, and we have to maintain a proper configuration management system. The completeness and consistency of the baselines is ensured. So as we define in the beginning of this configuration management strategy, so we will have a set of activities, or the set of sections, so which we need to ensure on the completeness and the consistency. So while we are reviewing a particular configuration item also, like, we will go through the content of the configuration item, and we will ensure on the completeness and consistency. We will ensure by ensuring the traceability, and even by review process of the baselined work product or the configuration item. And we need to ensure on the storage of the configuration item as well. So we need to control it. So See, if someone, I'm just giving an example. Okay, if some resource is out of your project, but he is not needed, like, to get access to the existing configuration, existing project documents or the project code. So that's when we will remove that access to that particular employee, and we will make sure that the storage of the configuration item is controlled. So to avoid misuse, so let us get into the best practices. So BP1 of configuration management, or SUP8, talks about develop a configuration management strategy. Develop a configuration management strategy including responsibilities. Who is responsible for preparing the document, for reviewing the document, for authorizing or for or approving the document. Okay, and tools and repositories. So what are the set of the tools we are using in the project, and where exactly you are storing your data, all the repositories, all the tools, we have to mention it in a plan or your configuration management strategy. Criteria for configuration items. So when you say this particular configuration item is complete or consistent, and this all we will define along with the configuration item list. Okay, in a table in general. So naming conventions, so we have to follow a particular naming convention for your project, and see, all the names of the documents should be the same, means like should look similar. If your project is ABC, then ABC underscore. If it is a template, it is TL underscore. What exactly the template is? It is configuration register. So C caps configuration register without space, configuration register. So I just gave an example of naming convention. So you can put instead of spaces, you can put underscores, or you can have spaces also. In most of the configuration management tools, like, it won't allow spaces. That's the reason. So we will use the first letter of the word in capital letter, or we will replace the spaces with the underscores. And we will have access rights. Who will have write access, who will have read access, who will have temporary accesses. So these all we will both read and write access, or also like these all access rights we will define, and we will if it is tool, like the tool admin will ensure on this access rights. And criteria for baselining, so this also will be defined in along with the configuration item list. So what is the criteria? So it should get, for example, it should get reviewed by the particular technical lead, and it should get reviewed by it should, first of all, you should get reviewed by the peer, and it should get reviewed by your technical lead, and it should, the second step. The third one is it should get reviewed by your QA, other quality assurance person. That's a final approval, internal approval, I can say. And after that you will say, like, you can deliver it to the customer. So merging and branching strategy, this is very particular for your code. And even so, when you're going to merge the code, when do you want to create a branch for the code? So, and the revision history approach for configuration items. So how we are gonna manage your revision history? It is like point 1, point 2, so it's like it's version history or the revision history. So what about the initial version? So what about the reviewed version? What about the baseline version of point 1, point 2, point 3? In general, baseline versions will be round of numbers, that is 1.0, 2.0, 3.0 kind of. So if it is in between, like if you are editing the document or if you are editing the code, and it will be like points. It's a 0.001, 0.1, 0.2, 0.3, your own organization definition of versioning. So this note 1 is talking about configuration management strategy typically supports the handling of products or software variants which may be caused by different sets of applications, parameters, and other causes. So this is just a note. And note 2 talks about the branch management strategy, specifies the branching is permissible, whether authorization is required, how branches are merged, and activities which required to verify. See, when you are merging or when you are branching, then that's when like you will have a review. So you will have a review with by the configuration engineer. So each and every project will have a configuration engineer, or see, if it is in a small project, then that's when like your people might have wear a different hats, like the same person, maybe your UI designer, or the same person is merging the code, the same person is a technical lead for your and the same person is merging. So generally configuration engineer will be there, who will merge, who will review it, like who will conduct a review, and then based on his review comments, like he will send back the review comments to the developer, saying like these are all missing, so you have to correct it and ensure the consistency. Then you say once it is available, you say then I will verify it again and I will merge this code with the main branch. So this is how it is, or the existing branch. So this is how it is. So why do we do branching is to deltas. If you have then one delta should not impact the other delta. So that's when like you will do the branching. So we have to define the branching or merging strategy both together in the configuration management strategy. Okay, and SUP 8 BP2 or the base practice 2 talks about identify configuration items. So identify and document configuration items according to the configuration management strategy. So I will tell you an important thing here. So what is a configuration item? Which undergoes changes in its life cycle. So if it is one-time document, then it is called a record. Okay, if it is undergoing changes in its life cycle, then it is called a document. So records also will get stored in the configuration management tool, but which will have one time, or which will undergo one time. So audit report, or any inspection reports, or these kind of PDFs, all your PDFs will be your records, and your documents will be like which will keep on updating by your different people, like all your templates, your code, everything will undergo changes in its life cycle. This is called the configuration item. So all the configuration items we have to list together in one document. So configuration record, or the configuration management register, so whatever you call as per your organization. So you have to list down all the configuration items inside that register, and then you have to define the criteria, or like when you call it as a baseline document, so who is responsible for that, or you have to prepare a complete RACI matrix. So who is responsible for that, who needs to review and who need to approve it, and is it a deliverable to the customer or not, it is an internal document, it is an external document, or it involves a certain level of access control. So this all we will define in the configuration management register. BP3 talks about establishing a configuration management system. So the configuration management you have to establish. So when you do according to the defined configuration management strategy, that's when like you can say your configuration management system is established. So you have a set of tools, you have a set of configuration management activities which we have defined in the configuration management strategy. So if you see, for example, you have Jira for your entire work breakdown structure and a task tracking mechanism. So once the Jira is in place, then the configuration management system is established. So you have SVN as a repository, or you have the code. See, you have any other VSS or any other configuration management system or setup, then we can see which is defined in the configuration management strategy. So that is called established. Our configuration management system is established completely. So your BP4 talks about establish branch management. Establish branch management according to the configuration management strategy where applicable for parallel development that use the same base. So as I said, I tried to explain it in the previous slide. When do you do branching is, see, you have a base, code, okay, then that's when you will do branching in that. So in first branch, in any number of branches you can create, so which enables you for the parallel development. So for branch 1, if you do a change, branch 2 you will do a separate change, okay. So branch 3 you will do another change, or these kind of all this branching strategy which we have to do as per our configuration management strategy. BP5 talks about control modifications and releases. So establish mechanism for controlling of configuration items according to the configuration management strategy and control modifications and releases using these mechanisms. So we have to define, see, in general the configuration management and release management together it will be in most of the cases, because see, once you say the particular configuration item is baselined, that's when you will say it is ready for the release, right? So it is ready for the release, or it is waiting for the approval from the customer. So that's when it will be shared with the customer. So that is the reason we will have a configuration management plan and the release management plan will be documented together, or in some organizations it will be defined separately. But these all activities should be as per your configuration management strategy. Your BP6 talks about established baselines. So establish baselines for internal purposes and for external delivery according to the configuration management strategy. If it is your internal document, then you need to get an approval from your engineering head, or your whatever your quality head or your engineering head or your project management or your program manager, or these kind of what you as per your roles and responsibilities table or RESI table which you have defined in a configuration management strategy. So that's how you will establish baselines. If it is delivering it, this is I spoke about internal purpose. So your project plan is an internal which is not deliverable to the, which sometimes if customer asks, so it may be a deliverable, but most of the cases it won't be a deliverable. So that's when you can say it as an internal document. And you have baselining. So if you can change the version name to 1.0 and you can say it is an approval document, approved one. But wherein if you are delivering to the customer, you need to get an approval from the customer. So that's when once the customer says it is okay, then it will become 1.0 or 2.0 or 3.0. That's how it is. And BP7 talks about base practice 7 talks about report configuration status. This talks about configuration status reporting. So we have to report what is the status of the configuration items to the management and other relevant processes. So how about the configuration management configuration item or CI is created, okay, is in progress, or is see how many CIs we have defined in the beginning of the project, and what is the status of the particular CI, whether it is tested, whether it is released, whether it is in progress, whether it is under review, whether it is released to the customer. So these all we will note down, and we will give it in a metrics oriented presentation, or even in some companies they will give in an Excel also. But we need to give the configuration status reporting to the management, or the project activities to the management in a defined frequency. So either it is weekly, either it is fortnightly, or either it is monthly. You have to define the configuration status reporting and you have to give it. So BP8 talks about verify the information about configuration items. Verify that the information about configuration items and the baselines is complete and ensure the consistency of the baseline. So it is how will you verify is we will conduct configuration management audit. So configuration management audit is conducted based on your status reporting and based on your configuration item list or configuration management register, your configuration management strategy also. So all based on all these things, the configuration management audit is conducted. In general, this configuration management audits will be conducted by other projects configuration engineer. So your configuration engineer who's branching and merging your code, and who is baselining, who is ensuring on the baselining, so who is providing the configuration status report, he should not do that audit. So one should not audit their own work, right? So that is the reason your configuration engineer is not eligible to conduct the audit. The cross configuration engineer, okay, or the other projects configuration engineer is eligible to conduct this configuration management audit. So it is just to verify whether your status reporting is correct or not, whether all the configuration items which are listed is in the updated phase or not, something like that. So in general, we will have monthly configuration audits, or even in some non-critical projects, so we will have quarterly as well, but in general it is monthly. Your configuration status reporting will be part of your project status reporting, so which will be in most of the cases it will be weekly. Okay, BP9 talks about manage the storage of configuration items and baselines. So how will you manage it? So ensure the integrity and availability of configuration items and baselines through appropriate scheduling and resourcing of storages, archiving and backup of the used CM systems. So note 7 is about backup, storage, archiving, and archiving may need to extend beyond the guaranteed lifetime of available storage media. Relevant configuration items affected may include these referenced in note 1, note 3. Availability may be specified by contract requirements. So what is this base practice talks about? So how you are storing the configuration item. See, when the project is in working condition, so when you are executing the project or when you are writing the project, so you will have the access control, version control, or these all things you will have. Your baselining activities will go ahead. And after some time, how you are, see, when you close a project, how will you deliver the work products or deliver the configuration items to the customer? So as per the contract or the SOW, which is shared by the customer, which is signed by the customer, so what all the deliverables it has, so all the deliverables are reached to the customer. And as per the customer policy, can we retain the code which is written for them, or do we need to delete that code in our repository? In case of calamities or in case of any other accidents or whatever it is, so how is your backup is carrying out? So see, now if you take a situation now, so we are suffering with COVID-19, right? So that's most of the people are working from work from home, are doing work from home. So how will you do the backup in case of work from home? How will you make it accessible to all entire team? How will you store the information? So for how many, see, after closing the project, for how many years you will keep the data, you will store the data, or what is the lifetime? So it may be 3 years, it may be 5 years, it may be 10 years. So you have to define all this backup strategy. So in general, if your organization is big enough, then this backup strategy will be maintained by your IT department or IT department, who will maintain all these servers, okay, and their backup mechanism, the retention mechanism and all will be defined as per the company's IT policies. What are the output work products? So handling and storage guide, configuration management plan, recovery plan, this baselining, configuration management record, change history, configuration management system. So when we are going through, so your recovery plan or your backup plan, okay, will be with your IT department most of the cases. So if it is your small, or if it is a small organization, we won't have an organizational defined backup strategies or recovery policies. So that's when it is lying with the project. But most, see, if you are implementing the configuration management in your project perfectly, then obviously it will be there with the IT or the organizational backup, organizational team, service management, or your IT service management team. So handling and storage guide is also like, this handling and storage guide is your configuration management register, okay, which will have all your configuration items which are listed in that. Even you have something called inventory register, so where you will list out all the hardwares inside your which are used in the project, which will be used in the project. So your it may be your cables, it may be your CROs, it may be your even laptops also. Like we have to identify each and every hardware with a naming convention, with a name, with a number or unique identification number you should have. This all will be taken care by the IT, and you have to maintain the inventory register while you are auditing the configuration audits. So that's when you have to conduct the inventory audits as well. So inventory audits will be conducted. See, inventory list will be updated based on the defined frequency. Most of the cases it will be done on monthly basis. Even inventory audits can be merged along with the configuration management audits, but inventory audits will be conducted mostly on quarterly frequency. I think I have come to the end of this session. If you like this concept, click on like button. If you want further more concepts on automotive, subscribe to my channel. Thank you.